If Barack Obama becomes the president in November again, I will either be dead or in jail by this time next year. Our president and attorney general, our vice president, Hillary Clinton, they're criminals.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. That was rocker and activist Ted Nugent 3 weeks ago at an NRA convention in St. Louis. When his speech went viral, some critics called it a threat against President Obama.
A few days later, Nugent got a visit from the Secret Service. In his first TV interview since then, he spoke with Jeff Glor about that meeting. Jeff, good morning.
Erica, good morning to you. Ted Nugent is loud, nonstop, never at a loss for words. He is also politically influential. Mitt Romney courted his endorsement and got it. And as we discovered firsthand during a visit to his Texas ranch, Nugent is ramping up the rhetoric again.
If Barack Obama becomes the president in November again, I will either be dead or in jail by this time next year. We need to ride into that battlefield and chop their heads off in November. Any questions?
Ted Nugent said that on Saturday, April 14th. Within days, he got a call from the Secret Service. When you heard from them, were you surprised?
In this environment, when you have the conditions in our government, no, I'm not surprised.
What did they say?
They said, hey, Ted, we have to meet with you. Somebody said you threatened somebody. I said, bring it.
Tell me about that.
I feel sorry for liberals who can be that brain dead as to take a clear statement of fear on my part and turn it into a threat against somebody else.
Nugent says the meeting took place at a hotel in Oklahoma where he was on tour. What did they say to you? How does that all take place?
Hey, Ted, it's good to meet you here. Thanks for giving us the time. And hey, we appreciate you responding to our request. And I said, and I appreciate it back that you guys are following up on your professional responsibilities, even though you're responding to complete idiots who you should probably be investigating. I think I alluded to that. And there was a slight smirk and a good-natured one like that. Right. And they sat down and they said, there's some questions we have to ask you here. And I said, good. And they asked me if I threatened anyone. I said, never. Couldn't, wouldn't. I wouldn't waste a breath threatening.
How long did that meeting last for?
I'm going to give you 35, 40 minutes.
It's long.
Mm-hmm. But that's because I was so open. And as you can tell, I'm rather verbose.
So their biggest concern was that you threatened the president?
I don't think their concern was that I threatened someone. I think their concern was that someone claimed I threatened someone. In fact, I got to tell you, and I don't mean to put any professionals on the spot, and I don't have the greatest hearing in the world, but I thought I heard something to the point of, I didn't think so.
They said that to you. We didn't think you did.
Something like that.
When the meeting was over, 35 or 40 minutes, was that was the end of it, or you heard from them again saying, hey, listen?
No. In fact, it was adorable. This is my favorite part, because I don't have a PR
You would
guy.
describe the meeting as adorable.
I would, because they did their job perfectly. I answered the questions perfectly.
And you were happy with how things went?
Absolutely.
And they were happy with how things went?
Nothing makes me happier than me.
April was one of the more interesting months I think you've ever had.
Well, Jeff, see, that's where you're wrong. It's always been like this.
It has not always been like this.
It has always been like this.
You have gotten
No way.
more
It
boisterous.
has always been. You go back and look at these interviews. It has always been like this.
Politically speaking, you are more of an activist now than you were in 1970.
The political activism is being accelerated because the conditions demand accelerated activism, yes.
You had a conversation earlier this year with Mitt Romney.
I did.
You endorsed Mitt Romney.
I did.
Have you heard from the Romney campaign after these comments?
I have.
And?
I have to say what I say the way I say it.
Were they unhappy with you for saying that?
No. They express support.
Did they say to you, listen, we appreciate the support, tone it down?
Nope.
They didn't.
I got the sensation it was, and not from Mitt himself or Mrs. Romney. Stay on course, Ted. Freedom of speech is a beautiful thing.
If Mitt Romney is to win, he needs at least some of the moderate vote. You are many things,
but
you are not moderate.
Not very moderate. If you examine how I conduct myself, I don't think a day goes by in my life for many, many years now that we don't do charity work for children. I offer you this. Have you done a lot of interviews?
Decent number.
Call me when you sit down across from someone who has more families with dying little boys and girls who get a call to take them on their last fishing trip in life. Call me when you meet someone who does that more than I do, because that's really moderate. In fact, you know what that is? That's extreme. I'm an extremely loving, passionate man, and people who investigate me honestly, without the baggage of political correctness, ascertain the conclusion that I'm a damn nice guy. And if you can find a screening process more powerful than that, how's that sound?
We have no idea where that unexpected outburst came from. The second part of it directed to a female CBS News producer who was off camera. But Nugent did just have one of his Midwest Rock and Roll Express tour dates canceled by the U.S. Army, a group he considers the core of his support.
These military guys are my blood brothers.
So then when they say you can't play for them.
So then when I hear that political correctness has somehow metastasized into the decision makers of the military, I was really let down that political correctness has any role at all in the military.
What's next?
I'm a perfect human being. I stumble perfectly. But I also aspire to and accomplish a perfect standing up, dusting off in that arena, and continue on. At the end of every day and at the end of my life, I will be in the asset column. I will better mankind. I will better the environment. I will better America. I'm dedicated to it. I can't be stopped.
We thank you for bettering this interview.
And I'll better your interview. God bless you, Jeff.
We released the Romney clip on our website yesterday, and the Romney campaign responded by re-releasing a statement saying divisive language is offensive and inappropriate. No matter what side of the political aisle it comes from, Mitt Romney believes everyone needs to be civil. Not exactly the most stinging rebuke from the Romney campaign, and Ted feels that he didn't slight them at all.
Why did he go off like that?
It's a good question. Very good question. Kind of stunned us, stunned our producer. His wife, a very sweet woman, did come in after the interview ended. The interview went on for 10 minutes after this explosion. She said, Ted, you need to apologize to Molly.
Molly, your producer.
He did. At first, he started to back off after he apologized. Then he delivered a full apology. And we went on. Yesterday, he called me on the phone after we got back to New York and said after our interview that he was rushed to the emergency room and had a kidney stone removed. So that's what he said may have contributed to his high level of energy.
When he said it's always been like this, what did he mean?
He meant that he's always been provocative. He's always been loud. He's always caused controversy.
Has he always called the president and the Secretary of State criminals?
No, and that's why I pointed that out to him. And I think he acknowledged he's upped the activism, and that's why the Secret Service went to visit him.
Yeah, you know, if someone cares about and being known for doing things with the little kids, the better way to do that is not to
I think it's
talk
a very good
about
point.
other people being criminals.
I think it's a very good point.
Anything really surprise you? I mean, because you sort of expected him to be outspoken and loud and passionate. Anything else that was surprising about it besides the outburst?
Well, he is still playing. I mean, he's more known now for these sort of outlandish comments that he's making, but he still says he's a great guitarist. Talk to people who watch him, and they say he is as well. I think his quote to us was that his guitar eats faces, as only Ted Nugent can say it.
Translated?
I'm very good at what I do.